Hey guys, and welcome back to the Game Not Game podcast. My name is Game, and with me as always is my co-host Not Game from his channel at youtube.com/notgame. I'm just kidding. It's Zen and Cyrene, youtube.com/Zen and Cyrene. How's it going, Zen?
Hello!
Bringing it back.
Yeah.
Bringing it right back to the previous week.
Yeah.
Hello, chat! How's it going, everybody?
Hello. Yeah, if you have no idea what I'm talking about or what we're talking about, check out the last episode.
Yeah, you need to follow youtube.com/Zen and Cyrene, like I was just saying, because he had the previous episode, and man, was the intro a doozy.
Yeah. It'll wake you right up.
Yeah, well, just like our first topic, AGDQ. That was a bad segue, I apologize.
It's actually an okay segue, believe it or not, because nowadays you see, the thing is, I work from home. I get up, eat something, jump on my computer, start working, and then I start putting on AGDQ because that's happening this week. So it's basically as I wake up, AGDQ is there for me.
So instead of wake up, put on a little bit of makeup. Wake up, put on AGDQ.
I was just thinking I was making it sound like a commercial for Folgers. So wake up with a little bit of AGDQ in your cup.
Yeah. The best part of waking up is AGDQ. Nailed it.
Yep.
Hire me, AGDQ. I'll do ads for you.
Yep, and Chad will just type cringe, try hard in the chat.
That's what you want, though. That's how you go viral in today's media landscape.
This is true, actually. I could go on and on about this, but that is actually true.
Yeah, man. The best ad is the worst ad.
It is absolutely
in 2018.
True. I mean, remember WhatsApp, right?
I do remember that.
Yeah.
That's like one of the few ads I remember from that era.
Yeah, exactly. That's the kind of thing that could go viral. Yeah.
Yeah. What's up? Yeah, can you imagine if that shit existed at a time when viral shit on the internet was a thing?
Yeah, 500,000 videos on YouTube.
Yeah, we'd be fucking introducing every DDC with "What's up?"
Yeah.
Like, it would be a whole fucking thing on Twitch, guaranteed.
Yeah, man.
But instead, we've got Ugandan Knuckles.
Oh no, I was thoroughly confused. If you had caught the stream on twitch.tv/green9090, you would know. I was just so confused until somebody had to explain to me what was going on and link a video. And that's a really kind of racist thing. That's a meme now.
So I talked more about I was on Zero Doxy's DDC, which is her Doxy Death Count stream every Tuesday, and we were talking about that. And apparently, the origin of the meme was just an African action movie, like a B movie from Africa that's hilarious and crazy. So somebody just thought that movie was funny, took quotes from it, and made Knuckles say these like ridiculous little Knuckles characters. And then it turned into a racist thing because everybody was like, haha, it's funny because he's black.
Right.
But that was like not the initial intention of the meme, so it's kind of been perverted and twisted into this weird racist meme. But it was not always that.
Right. No, I can see why they did that because have we ever talked about Nigerian movies in this podcast? Nollywood. I don't think we have.
Probably not. It doesn't sound familiar to me, so I think not.
Because there's a whole like industry of movie making in Africa, as everywhere, right? But because there's not a lot of money compared to Hollywood, certainly, and even places like Bollywood, they've had to make they're very ingenious about improvising props and CG and stuff. So
sure.
So I don't have all the details, but I think it's worth looking it up because it shows how resourceful people can be to make the movies that they love, even if they come off as funny sometimes with the rest of us,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it totally makes sense because, man, like movies have been around a long time. If you look at early, even early Hollywood movies, very early Hollywood movies, it is like they were just making the best with what they had. Because they didn't have much for movies at that point. The whole idea of making these huge, elaborate sets and everything is relatively recent, not like crazy recent. But talking about the whole history of film, it hasn't always been the way it is now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where you're making these like realistic, just photorealistic enactments of things. Like that's not what film used to be.
Mm-hmm.
So it totally makes sense that in other areas where they can't afford like a $500,000 CG budget or even more than that.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I'll try to find an article after the podcast. I don't have one now, and maybe we could even talk about it next time. But yeah,
well, hopefully this Ugandan Knuckles thing will land somebody a job voicing Knuckles in the next Sonic game.
I hope so. Oh man,
that'd be really good.
Yep. I hope Sega actually tries to make it into a real positive thing, like have a DLC set in Uganda or something like that. That would be great. I mean,
it's so easy for that to go wrong.
It is. Yeah, but if they did it right,
That's a risky venture for a Sonic game. That is some touchy subjects for a Sonic game.
Yeah, you know what? I'm thinking about the Sonic and the girl kiss thing from a while ago. And yeah, Sonic and humans maybe not in the same game. I think you're right there.
Okay. Actually, now that you say that, Sonic 06 but set in Uganda? Holy shit.
What?
I'm just thinking that was a great idea. I would play that game. I would watch a speedrun of that game and laugh about it.
On AGDQ.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, we might as well just talk about this now because AGDQ, if you somehow missed this, is the annual speedrunning event that now at least 100k people are watching at most hours of the day, and because of that, chat is insane. Chat has always been insane for AGDQ, just completely unmanageable, right? But this year, Games Done Quick, the organizer of AGDQ, released a statement explaining why it has now instituted a $5 subscription fee and made the chat sub mode only, right? And you can probably guess what it is. It's easier to moderate, and they want to maintain a positive atmosphere, quote unquote. It's what they're saying in their press release. And all subscription revenue in January will be donated to the Prevent Cancer Foundation. I imagine in other months it will be used to support the organization itself.
Yeah, like honestly, that's the best way they could have possibly handled it. Like, I've always been of the opinion, even if you have a chat as big as like, something relatively small for a major Twitch chat, like 15,000 people, it's already absolutely impossible to use that chat as a chat.
Yeah.
Like, that chat is just going to be a funnel of spam that's just going. So it really surprises me that anybody has any kickback at all about this, because, like, either you're being a douchebag in the chat and you're mad you can't do that anymore, or I think that's it. Like, there's no other use for a chat that busy. Like,
right.
If you try to have any constructive anything, if you're just like participating in memes, and that's like all your agency. And why? Just close it. Right. That's my opinion anyway. I've in all the time I've been watching AGDQ, and I started watching it was much smaller than it is now, I still have never tried to participate in the chat, because what the fuck is the point?
Yeah.
Your message is off the screen in under a second.
Yep. I totally agree with that. So at this point, sub mode is in, slow mode is in as well. And I've taken it upon myself, and the GDQ chat has prompted me to do this. I've never even thought about doing this before. To blacklist certain words using BTTV. Mostly the word pleb, like plebeian.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even with sub mode, people are still spamming things like, you've seen GDQ chat, I'm sure, while watching it. Those weird, like, nursery rhyme, like, quartets, I guess you could call them, with the emotes, free the plebs, or... I can't improvise one, but all of you who have watched GDQ know what I'm talking about, right?
Well, here's the thing. I always close the chat, so I actually have no idea what you're talking about.
All right, well, I
watch in theater mode.
You watch it in theater mode, yeah. So, what it is that it's kind of a weird form of protest. It's really like a nursery rhyme. I wish I had an
Yeah.
example for you. I might even open GDQ chat now so that I can get an example for you to read out later on. But generally speaking, when they say pleb, they mean, for example, just release the chat back to non-sub mode so that the quote-unquote plebeians, the plebs, can get back on it and talk.
Right.
Right. And I have blacklisted that word so that I can stop getting spammed by that.
Right.
Right. And
Oh,
then,
that's amazing.
and then whenever I'm free, I'm actually watching GDQ. I block people who are being really annoying. And it's a lot of blocking. But at this point, I've started to see conversations occur in GDQ chat, which is amazing in and of itself,
shit.
right? Like conversations about the game.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's something I wouldn't dare to dream for.
I know.
You
People.
found the unicorn.
I mean, right now, as we're recording this, it's about 8:15 PST at night. It's quite hard to have a conversation right now because people are yelling "Shine Gat" over and over again. They're doing Super Mario Sunshine, and
Okay.
but earlier in the morning, it is
that's a good
entirely possible to have a conversation about the game, and people were doing that. I watched a Fire Emblem run, and people were talking about they like Fire Emblem. How do I get into this series of games? So on and so forth. Right?
Wow. Okay.
It's like, swatting away a swarm of locusts and seeing the human beings like hiding under a rock.
Hopefully they're less horrified.
Yeah.
So I've got sort of a different perspective on this. I don't know anything about the actual chat, but what I do know is there's a subreddit called GDQ Poverty that they made a like restream of the stream where you could chat for free. And I'm just going to read this out loud. This is a really good statement by the guy who did this. I just made this account on a whim in order to avoid having to pay for a subscription to the official GDQ channel in order to chat with everyone else. For the first half hour or so, it was very nice. Everyone was civil and excited to be able to use their favorite emotes. Word of the channel spread quickly, though, and soon the chat became a constant flood of emotes and spam. Mm-hmm. Things were impossible to discern through the stream, so I introduced a 3-second slow mode, which seemed to work for a while. Eventually, things became so hectic that I had to introduce the moderation polls in order to quell the herd. These did an okay job of reducing the spam, but the more the spam got reduced, the more the hate started to spread. To my dismay, the chat log began to be filled with racist and hateful remarks toward GDQ, runners, and random groups of people. It was right around this point that I had to drive home, which was going to take me 2 hours. Very good. Very, very good, descent into, so this is why they made people have to sub to talk.
Right. So I am totally supportive of that. I'm not a subscriber to GDQ. I think I've been considering it because, it's cancer, right? It's a cause that I am deeply familiar with. So I might do it, right? But
holy shit. When you said because it's cancer, I thought you were talking about the bad people in the chat. They're so cancerous.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you something.
That's what you were actually talking about.
I never use the word cancer to describe anything except for cancer.
No, I know that. I was so surprised. I was like, holy shit, that's a weird thing for Zen to say.
I know, right?
Oh, man.
Yeah. But,
sorry.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I like it because now, well, with the help of BTTV blacklist and also blocking people, chat just seems so positive to me. Better anyway. It's not 100%. It's more 60% good at this point. But that's better than stupid spam and racist just word diarrhea or emoticon diarrhea we were having before GDQ implemented this policy.
That's a big step forward, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember in previous GDQs, it was a big thing. They spammed that emote of a black guy every time a black person was on screen. It's like, oh, come on, guys.
So there might be
that much of a novelty for you.
Oh, I hate that actually. That I think is tryhard, right? The emoticon.
I'm not sure. I don't remember.
So there are a couple that people like to spam. One of them is tryhard. Now tryhard is that a picture of an actual person. His name is Trihax, right? And Trihax is also quoted in the Polygon article or talked about in the Polygon article in which people started flocking to his channel to chat, and then I imagine things just started to go in the same direction. I don't know if the Polygon article actually said anything about this. But yeah, you know how it is, right? Whenever a black person shows up, so they start spamming that emoticon, and the other one, which I forget. And whenever an Asian person shows up, they spam Mingli. The worst is whenever a kid shows up in any game in a big channel, they start spamming Pedo Bear. That's the worst one.
Okay.
It doesn't have this. It doesn't have to be any context whatsoever. Kid could just walk into the screen, and walk by, and in a large chat that's not properly moderated.
First thing on everybody's mind is, child pornography.
Exactly.
Wow, what a world.
I know. So I don't.
Gamer culture, everybody.
Yeah, it's awful. So yeah, I am very happy actually that GDQ is implementing this. I feel like if they want to have better reach in terms of promoting the cause to none or people who are not in gamer culture, this is something that's necessary to be done.
Yeah. I was actually just talking with on the DDC about that. It's one thing that's very interesting to me about the way AGDQ is going is the fact that they're really trying to make it super ad friendly in terms of the actual stream, which is it's very strange to me because like they'll speedrun like GTA, right?
Yeah.
And in GTA, like you could be walking down the street and somebody will just yell, "Yo, fuck you, man!" But the runners are not allowed to swear anymore.
I figured.
Just
blanket
banned.
I kind of noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really I don't know how that's going to play out in the long term because it's like that's got to be difficult for the runners. Like these runners are mostly people who are used to doing their own streams, having their own communities, and probably swearing a fair amount. When you're speedrunning, something goes wrong, you'll be like, "Oh fuck." So it's like it adds a lot of pressure on them to abide by that, and it must create an atmosphere, and from what I've heard from people who are like more into the community than I am, it has created an atmosphere where a lot of runners are just like, it's not worth going to GDQ anymore because it's too hard to keep up with their standards. Like you have to be like this TV personality and speedrun a game, and that's like those are two things that don't really go together. Like speedrunners are typically they're not like newscasters,
right?
Like these are just people who play a video game a lot. So to put them under that kind of stress to like stick with their standards of behavior is, I feel like that might be in the long run like kind of terminal to the event, but we'll see.
I actually don't think so, but I do agree that the whole password thing, I think they need to back off on that. That one I definitely agree with because, I mean, like you said, there are games in which the games are super violent and people are cussing and so on and so forth. So it is silly that the casters themselves are not allowed to cuss, right? I do agree with that. I kind of feel like it's okay for them to try to reach a wider audience in that sense, or try to reach out to organizations that may not have, who are not so entrenched in gamer culture like we are. And if they feel like they need to make some changes, maybe not the foul language thing, but some changes to do that, I'm agree with that, because then if it turns out that by doing so they raise more money, I'm actually okay with this.
I agree to an extent. And it totally depends. Like, like certain behavioral standards, like they shouldn't be using gay as an insult and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But just in general, like trying to whitewash the whole thing that might make you more money in the short term with advertisers, but as you alienate more and more top speedrunners, then your talent pool is gonna dwindle.
Right.
Like there's a certain amount that your runners are gonna put up with because they aren't paid. This is a volunteer thing for them.
Right.
So it's like, at a certain point, people are going to start deciding this is not a worthwhile use of my time because it's just too difficult to work with AGDQ as an organization, and that's already something like they're. I was talking to Cat on Mars, who's a streamer who knows about a lot about this, or and Benile, who's close to the NLSS community, and they were saying that I don't think there's any Wind Waker streamers who are like, at a high enough level to go to GDQ who will put up with their bullshit anymore, so they just don't do Wind Waker anymore.
Right.
And Wind Waker is a huge speed running game. Like that's a really popular one, and they just don't have it anymore. And
Right.
Same thing with Super Metroid. I don't know how much of that is GDQ deciding that Super Metroid was too much trouble and how much is top Super Metroid runners deciding not to go. But either way, Super Metroid, once the top draw of GDQ is no longer there.
Right.
So there's some troubling warning signs, I would say, for the long-term health of the stream, unfortunately.
Right. I do think they need to back off on those standards. But what kind of ads are advertisers are they chasing anyway? Whenever I see GDQ, it's gamer related ads, like the Yeti or Humble, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's not. I haven't seen many organizations sponsoring them who are super into, like, they've got like, fucking Devolver Digital,
right,
sponsoring them. Like, what? These people don't care. Humble Bundle doesn't give a shit what you say.
Right.
So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know exactly where this pressure is coming from, and how much of it is just the organizers deciding, on their own that they want to look more professional or whatever. But I think really what's going on is the event grew way too fast, and it like at this point it's so much bigger than it was when it started that it can't be the same thing it was when it started, and they're trying to figure out, okay, what can this be instead, and they're trying out some directions that are kind of weird and counterproductive.
Right.
So, yeah, hopefully they'll figure it out soon.
I mean, the reason I asked about the ads is because if it's the ads, I don't get it, right? If it's something like, they want to approach like non-profit organizations or organizations that support non-profit organizations that do have these kinds of standards to support GDQ. I don't know which organizations they are exactly, but my sense of it is that generally charitable organizations do need to find support in that way. Then I can see that happening,
Yeah.
But ads, I don't see that happen. I don't see why they would have to do that.
For the charitable organizations though, like, you can just shop around. Like, you're offering them, you're just being like, hey, we're gonna raise like $1 million.
Well, no, not.
Do you want it?
Not the ones they donate to, the ones that support charitable organizations or nonprofits like GDQ. Like, if they wanted to get a grant from some government organization.
I see. Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
So that would make more sense to me than the whole ad thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was kind of very obtuse there, but that's what I meant.
I gotcha. I see what you mean now.
Yeah.
My bad.
So
and that's definitely a possibility. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
I mean, if that's the case, though, they need to be transparent about it. So I don't know if they've done any press releases to explain the policies.
No, they're very closed about everything that they do. Like, they released the list of games, and somebody was like, "Where the hell is Super Metroid?" And they were just like, "We're not doing Super Metroid this year," and that was their whole statement on it. Like, they didn't go into it at all, which is bizarre because if you haven't watched GDQ before, every single year up to last Summer Games Done Quick, the biggest donation driver was save or kill the animals in the Super Metroid race, which was like the crescendo of the event. The Super Metroid race was the most exciting event at every AGDQ, and then it was just gone, and people were like, what? Where did it go? And we don't know. But there's speculation that the reason is in the last race, last year's AGDQ, there was this one guy who was kind of an asshole. I don't think he was even playing. I think he was on the couch. But there was some meme going on, and he at one point he was like, if you think that's funny, you should go out and get hit by a bus or something. And it was a big like, whoa, that was a weird thing to say during the Super Metroid race, and people were thinking like because of that they just decided to not have Super Metroid anymore, which is absolutely a disproportionate response to one guy being a douchebag.
I mean, if that's what it is, but they're not being transparent as to what it is either.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the only reason anybody can think of, and I kind of think it must be related to that, but I think it might also be that some Super Metroid runners don't want to come back because like I saw a list of people who submitted, and some of the top Super Metroid runners in past GDQs did not submit runs. Lots of people did submit Super Metroid runs, but none of them were the top most popular ones. So it's possible GDQ was just like, well, we don't have the best guys, so fuck it, let's not do it. But we don't know.
Right. Huh. Well, I mean, all of those things, if they are true, they're actually, like you said, quite troubling, right? Like as somebody who never really followed GDQ very closely, I knew what or heard about save the animals, kill the animals, right?
Yeah, you couldn't watch the stream without somebody donating for saving or killing the animals.
Yeah.
Like it was constant. It was the theme of the event.
Right. Right. Well, we'll see. For right now anyway, AGDQ is still getting a fair amount of, well, I say a fair amount. There's, at this moment, 130,000 people are watching. So they're getting lots of people to watch. Right,
They
still.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah, the viewership is there. It's more the talent that I'm concerned about.
Right.
Because that's going to be a slower way to kill the event than just nobody deciding to watch. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm still enjoying it though. I've seen some really good runs.
Yeah? Which ones did you see?
The Metroid 1 run was just earlier today.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was fantastic.
Yeah. I was impressed by his jumping skills. I mean, I wasn't paying that much attention because I was working. But
I've played a lot of Metroid, like all the Metroid series. So I've seen Metroid speedruns before, and the route he took to go and kill Kraid first was crazy. Holy shit, that was so dangerous. I was so like the Kraid fight was so scary. So that was really neat. It's very cool going back to AGDQ and just seeing the new routes they've created for games that you're familiar with. And that was one where I was just like, whoa. Because like they said on the couch, this route used to be tool assisted only because a human couldn't do it, and the guy who was playing was the one who figured out that you could do it, with human hands.
right.
So that was neat. And I saw Metal Gear Solid 1 for the PC, which was hilarious run.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's a PC port for Metal Gear Solid 1. A little known fact I didn't know.
Yeah.
And apparently it's broken as fuck. They just tore that game apart. It was so good. Because they just apparently Konami just decided to hire a few guys for a few months. So we're just make this PlayStation game a PC game. And they really tried their best, but man, are there some problems. Like, for example, they couldn't rip the music off of the PlayStation thing in a usable format. So to make the music, they downloaded off of fan sites the music that people had recorded off the PlayStation version and used that in the PC port.
Wow.
That's the kind of port it is.
Wow.
So it was very good. I highly recommend going back and watching that run. That was very funny.
Yeah, I should go watch that. I think I missed that totally because I was just so busy.
Have you seen anything that you were super into?
Early this morning, I caught part of the Dragon Quest run, the original Dragon Quest for Nintendo, and it was kind of crazy because I think, and correct me if I'm wrong here, at one point, in order to get through the game as quickly as possible, he played the game. Like, imagine, okay, Dragon Quest is this really old Nintendo RPG, so it takes place from a top-down perspective. And
It's like a Final Fantasy 1
yeah,
style RPG.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And he found a way to get through the game quickly that involved not being able to see anything around him. It was just that one character and just blackness all around him, and he navigated it through it anyway using sound cues.
Classic.
Yeah, it was kind of mad, and I was so confused at first, and then I was like, oh, he managed to do that just to cut that much time out of his run. Nuts.
Yeah. That's similar to how people can speedrun Ocarina of Time blindfolded.
That's insane.
Yeah. Speedrunners can do absurd things.
Well, I will say that this year, this event in particular is the most I've ever seen of a GDQ event.
Really?
Yeah, typically speedrunning doesn't interest me that much, honestly.
Okay.
Which is, unfortunately, that's why I don't pop into some of my fans' channels that much, because I just don't have much interest in it. But it's been interesting having GDQ up as kind of background as I work, because I'm not paying attention to it a lot of the times, but then there's some points in which something really incredible happens.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of GDQ runs that I'm not that interested in. Like, I'll pop in many times throughout the day and just kind of listen for a little bit and watch the game, and a lot of the time I'll be like, I'm not that into this run. But sometimes it'll grab me, and that's happened a few times this year. Yeah, it really it depends a lot on the runner. Like, some runners are really entertaining to watch, and some are not.
Yep.
Unfortunately. And nothing against runners who are not, charismatic, because it's like that's not a prerequisite for speedrunning. But for an event like this, it really is more fun if the runner is like engaged and telling you about what he's doing. Because that's what I like about it. I like learning about the speedrun.
Yeah, because these runners, as you well know, they have encyclopedic knowledge about the games they're running. They have to, in order to pull off the things that they do.
Yeah. And a lot of time they'll line up a whole couch of people who have encyclopedic knowledge about the game. So like the runner can focus, and somebody else on the couch will be explaining the trick he's doing in very deep detail, and it's so cool to learn that kind of thing. Like just the details of a really confusing trick. Like the Metal Gear Solid run was like that, where it was like he would just do something that looked like nonsense. He'd just be like crawling around on the floor and sticking his head through the door and shit. And,
Classic Metal
and
Gear.
this guy's explaining like, so in this version of the game, it doesn't check, your cutscene triggers very well. So if you stick your head through the door here, then and it's just ridiculous bullshit. It's very good. It's very fun to learn that kind of thing.
Well, AGDQ. Well, I mean, as of the time you're listening to this, probably it's going to be over. But I'm
already.
Well, Sunday, right?
Is it Sunday?
Isn't it?
I thought it was like Tuesday.
Oh, let me see. Yeah, Sunday. It's Sunday, January 14th, 12:35 a.m. is the finale.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, viewers.
It's okay.
Missed AGDQ. But we did talk about it last week, so
yeah.
hopefully people heard about it then.
Yep.
And those in the live chat know right now.
Yep.
Leave this stream and go watch AGDQ.
Tonight?
I'm just kidding. Don't do that. I'll fucking kill you.
Asterisk. This will not actually happen. No, of course not. You can kill somebody by wishing them dead over the internet. Not yet, anyway.
I'm gonna get banned from Twitch now.
Yeah. Tonight is supposed to be the bad games block, I think. Yeah. So
EnviroBears tonight.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to be watching the hell out of that one.
EnviroBear. We did that for a Green versus Zen, right?
We did.
Way back in the day.
And I haven't thought about the game since. So
what a killer game.
I have no idea why this game showed up out of the ether. Like, why? But I'm glad it did.
Alright, let me explain this game to you, and hopefully in the process pitch to you why you should go back and watch the speedrun if you're watching this in the future. EnviroBear is a game where you play as a bear, you're in a muscle car, and you just have a mouse. You have one paw, and that's your mouse, and you have to use your paw to do the gas and the brake and the steering wheel and shift gears and move shit around in your car. And your goal is you have to get all the food into the car and eat it to survive the winter. You have to like fill up your hibernation meter and then get in there to your cave and hibernate in your car and then come back out and do it all again. And like all this shit is bouncing around in your car, so like hypothetically you could catch a fish and it will get into your car and like lay on the gas pedal and you won't be able to stop and you'll just smash into something. Oh, it's a really good game. And you can like you'll get like pine cones and shit bouncing around in your car. It's good.
Yeah.
It's one of those like multitasking games that is so hilarious and so fun, and oh my god, a speedrun of that game sounds so good.
Yeah.
Gotta watch that.
Yeah, I'm absolutely going to watch that. Think of it this way, okay? It's not the same style of gameplay for sure, but in terms of hilarity and things that can go wrong, it's the getting over it of 2012.
Absolutely. It's the getting over it of racing games.
yeah, I guess you could say that.
Yeah, it's real good.
Alrighty, so I guess that's going to be our GDQ talk, which actually took up the majority of the podcast this time around.
Yeah, that was 36 minutes of GDQ. Sorry, everybody.
It's alright. Yeah, it's a big thing for people who watch streams, generally speaking. So it's worth talking about for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. The one topic that I wanted to bring up more than anything else this week, in the week full of crazy news, was the fact that there is a new girl band in Japan, which is, not necessarily something that's unusual. This happens like every day, I'm sure. That a new like cutesy girl band comes out of their own album, but this one's a little bit special, right? They are called the virtual currency girls. Gasosuka Shoujo. And their whole thing is that they are going to be singing songs about cryptocurrencies so that you can learn about them. And the official site apparently draws a progression through different types of monetary transactions throughout history, beginning with bartering, and then physical money, and now electronic payments. Right?
Is this shit gonna be played in like elementary school classrooms?
I have no idea. There are 8 girls, and each of them represents some kind of digital currency. 18-year-old Rara Naruse's name is Bitcoin Cash. 16-year-old Hinano Shirahama is just Bitcoin. And then
what?
Yeah, I know. I have no idea.
There's 2 Bitcoins?
There's 2 Bitcoins in this group. Army Amo.
Some bad blood there. Sorry.
I guess so. Army Amo, age unreleased for some reason, is Ethereum. And then it goes down through the list. Neo is a coin, I guess. Mona coin, Cardano, Ripple. I've never heard of any of these things.
Yeah, that's wild.
No Dogecoins.
No Dogecoin.
No Dogecoins, yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
She would be the best one.
Yeah, she would.
She'd have like a Shiba hood.
Yeah. No, they can't
and
actually...
like big paws. Oh man.
They can't actually do the Shiba thing because there's one detail about this group that I completely forgot to mention. Actually,
okay.
They're all wearing luchador masks.
What?
They are. Look at the picture. The lead character, the group leader, is wearing a bright green luchador mask with the symbol for Bitcoin on her forehead.
Where's the picture? I don't have the picture.
Oh, you don't?
This.
Okay, yeah. Let me give you. Oh, just link to Twitter and then you can see for yourself.
Put it in chat if you have it open.
Yeah. So
people need to know. There it is.
Yep.
What? But they all have mustaches.
You mean for the
Oh no, that's just shadows.
What? Oh.
Look in the banner.
Yeah.
Imagine they all have mustaches. It's very easy because it looks like it.
Okay, I gotta scroll up here. Yeah, it's because of the shadow. You're right.
Yeah, the masks make a shadow over their mouths that look like mustaches. That's incredible.
Yep.
What the hell? So the first tweet here is a picture of a girl in a maid outfit and a luchador mask.
Yes.
And it's all in Japanese. Let me translate this. Let's see what they're saying.
Oh, good.
What hashtag Japanese characters, as was made, appeared in Abema TV's Abema Prime monitor increases the more knowledge we're studying is still clearly to you, and tell you that to become emoji face heart, much appreciated, stars. Let's think together for the first time, heart heart. Thank you very much. Hashtag Mona.
Yeah.
And then just a picture of a girl with a maid outfit in a luchador mask. That's incredible.
It is incredible.
They're all in maid outfits.
That's their official uniform. Just maid outfits.
That's their uniform.
Yeah, luchador mask and
Yo.
Bitcoin.
I was so distracted by the masks, I didn't notice that they were all in maid outfits.
I know, right?
Okay, they also only have like 8 tweets total.
I...
Oh,
no,
no,
they have
no, now
more
they're
than
loading.
that.
Now they're loading.
Yeah.
Sorry, I guess that was just my internet.
Yeah, I mean, it's... They still don't have that many tweets, like 25 or something. Or even less than that. But
there it is. Yeah, I found the end now.
But yeah, if you are a fan of girl groups, you can go and listen to them. I did listen to a sample of their music. It sounds like very generic, girl group J-pop
Yeah, it's
music.
J-pop.
Yeah. So there's nothing special about that, really. The special stuff.
Well, there's
is
nothing
everything
special.
else.
There's nothing special until you have the subtitles up, and they're just giving you a fucking finance lesson.
Yeah.
That's what's incredible about it.
So when Bitcoin eventually crashes, are they going to release like a sad ballad?
They're gonna fire the 2 Bitcoin girls and hire new ones for the new hot cryptocurrency.
Yeah, that's going to be Dogecoin.
Yeah, they're gonna regret not having Dogecoin from the ground floor.
Yeah. Yeah, what's stopping them from putting a Shiba Inu as part of the group? Just a real Shiba Inu.
Okay, well, here's a question that I don't know the answer to. Is Dogecoin at all relevant right now? Or is it dead? Because I don't know. Dogecoin is like 2 years old, right?
I don't know. Oh, actually, hello chat. I did not realize that you were actually talking because my pop-out chat just isn't displaying anything. So
oh no.
Yeah, I apologize if it seems like I was ignoring you for like 45 minutes. Yeah.
They're used to it. This is my chat.
Yeah, so that's a real thing. It's yeah, holy shit, what the fuck. Yeah, this year continues to surprise me, and we're only like 10 days in.
Are we only that?
I know.
We are. It is January 10th. What the fuck? I thought it was like in the 20s of January.
Oh no.
Man. Yeah, I haven't had a great sense of time recently.
Yeah, well, it has felt like a long time. I honestly thought it was closer to the 14th. So
yeah. It's been a long year so far.
It's been a long year so far.
2018 is gonna be fucking long, except at the end of 2018, where you'd be like, "What? It's already December."
Yeah, we're going to be like old people by the end of that. Well, I say that I'm turning 36 this year, so middle age is coming.
Yeah, I'm turning 29.
Yeah, 29.
Very, very close to that bend.
29 is a good age. What was I doing when I was 29?
I think we were doing Binding of Isaac videos together. No, not quite.
Think so. I cannot do math. 29 was 2007.
No.
For me. No, that's not. I can't do math. I cannot do math.
It was 7 years ago. It was 2010.
Yeah, 2010, 2011. That's
Wait,
right.
2011.
Yeah, we weren't doing. Were we?
Not yet.
Yeah, we started in 2012.
I think we started that in late 2012, like November 2012, I think.
Something like that, yeah. Yeah, at the time I was doing similar things as I am now. That's when I started working for the people I worked for, so that's a good thought.
Yeah. Was it 7 years ago? So I
Yeah.
was 22. Oh, I was really depressed and I was playing RuneScape like 10 hours a day. That's what
Oh.
I was doing. Yeah, it was bad. I was a basement dweller.
Well, RuneScape,
Now I'm an attic dweller. I'm moving up in the world.
literally. Man, I hate how literally is used nowadays, but that's a topic for another
Yeah.
day. I think we need to get on to Game of the
What we
Week.
need to do, what we need to sorry, really quick. We
Uh-huh.
need to start using figuratively to mean literally.
Yep.
We'll fucking show them.
I heard somebody say that after they got drunk or something one night, they quote unquote literally went home and went to sleep. And I was thinking, I sure hope so.
I guess it's better than figuratively going home and going to sleep.
I know, they just sprawled out in an alleyway somewhere.
Yeah, I quote unquote went home and went to sleep. Let's talk about American Truck Simulator.
Oh, good. That's a game.
It is.
Yeah.
So really quick, we were gonna do Hitman. We announced that last week. There was a deal on Hitman where you could like during the winter you could like download or during December I should say you could download like the first episode for free, and I swear to fucking god I did that, and I ended up somehow with the free trial of Hitman. I don't know what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
So we can't do that because now I don't own the game, and that was my bad. But instead we played American Truck Simulator, which is a really goddamn good video game. What'd you think, Zen?
I'm going to have to believe you on that because I am the world's worst truck simulator player. And I finished my first mission with negative 600. Well, not negative 600. I had a $600 loss on my first mission. And then after that,
that's nothing.
I stopped playing the game. No, but you saw on Twitter how that loss came about, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
saw that.
before we talk about that, why don't we just explain real quick what the game structure is like so that it will make more sense?
Okay, so you start up American Truck Simulator, and the first thing it says is design your trucker and your company. So you're looking through avatar pictures of all these truckers, and they're really good. There's just a bunch of fucking crazy looking people posing for photographs. They're all like ostensibly real photographs of real people, and they're all nuts. It's great. So you choose your crazy looking dude, and then you can choose your like logo for your company, and one of them is insanely racist. It's like a stereotypical Native American, and you can choose one of those. You can name your company, and then you start playing, and you choose like a home base city somewhere in Nevada, California, or Arizona. Which is cool because I actually know California pretty well, especially Southern California. So it's really interesting being able to see this in an area where I have lived and understand. And you do that, and then it will give you a mission to go there, from there to somewhere else. And then every time you do that, you can start choosing to go from any place you've discovered to another place and just build up your network of cities that you're familiar with. And to do that, you drive a big ass fucking truck down some virtual freeways, and it's hard actually to do this without smashing into things, and it's very good.
Yep. I found that out the hard way because there's this system, right? So, you're a truck. They are trying to simulate the fact that you're supposed to stick to highway safety laws. And so whenever something happens, and the police sees it, let's say for example you hit another car and the police sees it, they will fine you a couple $100, like just debit it right out of your account immediately, right?
Well, I want to clarify: if you hit anybody at any time for any reason, you get fined.
Oh, okay.
But for most traffic offenses, like for offenses that don't cause damages, a police has to see you do it.
Yeah.
A police car, I should say.
For some reason, and this has been true for the game's predecessor, European Truck Simulator, I cannot drive a truck. I struggled to get out of the parking lot. It took me like 10 minutes because I kept hitting a building of some kind while trying to turn. Right.
It makes wide turns, and
Yeah.
it says it right on the back.
Yeah. And then after that, I stuck the cab of the truck out onto the road. There was a police car waiting for me to pass, and I just couldn't figure out how to get out, and I just kept smashing cars in the parking lot. Every time I did that, minus 200 something, minus 200 something.
Oh boy.
Minus 200 something. Finally got out. And I made a picture. Hey, look, I'm out. I tweeted it out. There's a fire truck in front of me. I smashed into that fire truck for some reason. It's trying to get from Sacramento to Truckee, which is not the longest route in the world. Flipped over somewhere up on the Sierra Nevada, and then called the tow truck to send me to Truckee. Got to Truckee. It cost me money to do that. Flipped over again, called the tow truck to bring me back to where I was before, and made it in having lost every bit of the money I was supposed to earn, and then an additional $600.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying that you just had negative $600 and
Nope.
then you added your winning. Okay, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
That's real bad. You paid like $10,000 a run, so to lose $10,600 is pretty impressive. Because I drive like a maniac in this game, but I'm a pretty good driver. So like typically I just take speeding tickets. Like I don't give a fuck. Give me speeding tickets all day. So I'll typically spend like $1,000 on speeding tickets, and I might smash into things once or twice, and that'll be another $500. But I'll still come out ahead, like $7,500 at the end of a run.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. Like, is it something with my control screen? Because you're not the only one to tell me that you didn't think it was possible to flip the truck. Other people told me that as well.
Know. I do crazy shit in this game. I just crank it up to 90 whenever I can. I go as fast as that truck is capable of, and if there's traffic, I just weave on through it. And I have never, I've done some insane screeching slam on the brakes and turn the wheel as hard as I can turns, and I've never even tipped. So I don't know what you did.
I don't know.
I don't know how you can tip all the way over. That's insane.
But that has been true also for European Truck Simulator for me. You remember when just fishtailed just out of nowhere while you're looking in the rear view mirror when we were playing the multiplayer mod, right? It's the same kind of thing.
Good. You guys should really go back and watch that video of Green vs. Zen Euro Truck Simulator 2, because there's some great moments in that video. Zen has no idea what he's doing operating heavy machinery, and he's just constantly there's 3 different instances. We're on the multiplayer server, so I'm able to watch him, and there's multiple instances where he's stuck, and I'm sitting there okay, turn the wheel all the way right and back up. Okay, stop backing up. Stop. Okay, now turn it left, go forward. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's a fun time.
And then you had to do this in real life too when I came to visit you.
I did have to do that. In fairness, the parking sucks at my mom's house, which is where Zen was visiting.
Yeah.
You'd have an easier time parking here.
So yeah, I mean, you take that, you combine that. In fact, actually, when I left the mountain that you left on, and then my first thought was Euro Truck Simulator. I tweeted that. I said, Green saw that for himself now, why I'm so bad at Euro Truck Simulator when I was just driving around.
Mm-hmm. So this should tell you something about how realistic Euro Truck Simulator is.
Yeah, it should.
It's just like driving a real truck in that Zen cannot do it.
Yeah. But actually, about that, you can make it as realistic as you want, really. You could do it in arcade mode, or if you are a serious truck role player, and those do exist, you can have a controller equipped. You can make it so that you have to do all the adjustments a real trucker will have to do.
Yep, you can get wheel and pedals, and even you can plug a ham radio into your computer if you need to. Or if you want to. No, I'm just kidding. You can do wheel and pedals, though, and I bet that's great.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can.
Yeah. No, I'm 100% sure you can. It tells you that right on the control screen. Like, are you
Ah,
using real
yeah.
pedals? And I'm always like, no, I'm not. I wish. That
I
would be fun. Man, this game would be so fucking good in VR, by the way. Oh my god.
It would be. It totally would be. I'm sure it's occurred to them as well. Whether they'll actually develop it, I don't know.
Yeah. This is like when I hear about VR technology, this is the kind of shit that really interests me. Like just stuff like where you're sitting in the cockpit of something. Because the problem with VR is like, yeah, okay, I turn my head and I look, but I'm still like using a control stick to walk and stuff. But it's less immersion breaking, I feel, if instead of being a guy who's supposed to be standing and doing stuff, instead you can just be sitting in the control area of a truck or a spaceship or something. Like, I feel like that's where VR shines. So yeah, this is the kind of game that I would really be into in VR, but I don't think it has a VR mode, unfortunately.
Have you ever heard of a game called Steel Battalion?
Oh man, yes. What is it? It's not Red Steel.
No, no.
Which is what immediately came to mind. What is Steel Battalion?
So I'm going to post
Oh, it's the mech game.
It is indeed. Yeah, I'm going to post this link in chat now. It was done for the original Xbox, if I'm not mistaken, and it was
That's
way ahead of
right.
its time. This $200 insane controller with like all kinds of buttons and twin joysticks and foot pedals, and it's supposed to make you feel like you're controlling a Mac.
I read about Steel Battalion and this insane control scheme in EGM
Yeah.
in like fucking 2004. That's where I've heard of Steel Battalion. And yeah, it's ridiculous. You should really look up Steel Battalion controller on Google Images, as we have done. Because, man, this thing, it looks like it looks like a fucking prop from a 1970s sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
It's got two different joysticks and shit. There's a fucking like automatic style gear shift that goes from 5 to reverse. There's like panels and panels of buttons. There's a dial. There's a switch with a plastic cover on it that you have to flip up to hit it. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
What a thing. This is what we need in the modern day.
Imagine that in VR,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. God, the problem with that, though, the problem with something like that in VR is that if the syncing isn't exactly right, you're not going to be able to find those buttons.
Yeah.
Even if the syncing is exactly right. Like, it's really hard. You need, like, something tracking where exactly every one of your fingers is. Because if you don't, then pushing those buttons is going to be impossible.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But
Yeah.
that's what, when you talked about like the cockpits and stuff, that's what I thought of
Oh,
first.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need that, and you need a sensor on the tip of every one of your fingers so you know how to push the buttons and that it can all be simulated. You need a fucking yardstick to set it all up all correctly. You need a rumbling chair so that every time you take a step it like rumbles. Yeah, there's serious potential there for like the most immersive gaming experience that's ever happened.
No, the most immersive gameplay experience ever is still the Korean boyfriend VR sim.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, they proved that with love science technology.
Yeah,
Your heart rate increases.
maybe they'll do something like that with a virtual hand. Well, not a virtual hand, like an actual hand.
Excuse me.
Like, you're going on this Korean VR boyfriend trip and you can hold a hand. Actually, that's the saddest thing I've thought of today. Come to think of it.
It's the saddest, but also the best.
Somebody will buy that. It's Kickstarted.
So anyway, that's American Truck Simulator. It's a very good game that would be better in VR, but it's not in VR. But yeah, so anyway, the feelings that this game evokes for me is like, it's just so relaxing. It's relaxing in the same way going on an actual road trip is, except you don't have to worry about crashing into anything because who the fuck cares? It's just, so you've just got that like zoning out on the road feeling. It's like it's hard to explain because like any way of describing this, it's similar to Cook Serve Delicious in that like if I describe why I like it, you're gonna be like that sounds boring as hell. But if you play it, you'll love it. It's a very good feeling game to play. It's just really nice.
It was
especially if you're not Zen and you understand how to turn wide enough to actually leave a driveway.
Yeah, it was the opposite of relaxing for me. But I'm sure it's because I'm the world's worst truck driver. So
I just want to point out that during the stream on Monday that we did, Zen repeatedly was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm just trying to make this truck do what I want to do." And then of course the moment he tries to actually go forward, he's like, "Why did I just slam into 5 things?" I'm like, "That's what I was doing, Zen."
I had forgotten.
That was my problem. That's why when you tweeted that, I was like, not so easy, is it?
Yeah.
Because it's not sometimes. Sometimes you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, you'll be like, I'm way past that car, and then try to change lanes and just slam your fucking trailer into the front of a car because you're so much longer than you think you are. Which is not a problem I've ever had in real life. Ladies, wait a minute. Anyway.
Well,
Truck Simulator.
American Truck Simulator. Doi Warrior was wondering how long it would take to play video games in VR, like off a TV in VR. Technically, that's already happened in a way.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, somebody's gonna make Minecraft in Star Citizen. What? And then you just you boot up Star Citizen in VR mode and then play Minecraft in your spaceship, and you're just sitting at a computer.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's something like that will happen. Let's say if Eve or something, or Star Citizen. Eve is known for having lots of time in which nothing happens, right? Mm-hmm. So if Eve ever goes VR, then you'll be like, you'll be like a Star Citizen. What am I saying? You could be like you could actually be the pilot who's playing a game because they're bored waiting for the journey to end in VR space.
Yeah. You are the pilot now.
You are the Star Citizen now. Arjun's like, what the hell? No, Doi Warrior. The reason I said what I said just now is because I was watching someone, Kiwo, you might know her, play Super Hot in VR today, and Super Hot is a VR game. It's actually about a person who's in VR. So technically, she was playing a VR game in VR, right?
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing I was talking about.
So, spoiler alert for Super Hot. That scene where you go and shoot yourself in VR, do you actually shoot yourself in real life in Super Hot VR?
I have no idea. I mean, Super Hot looks like a game, actually, that works well in VR, I have to say.
100%. Yeah, that game was made for it, and that's very obvious by the scene where you see yourself in VR.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think we are coming to the end of this podcast. Next week, what's up?
Oh, no, I just thought it was funny that we talked about VR so much in a game of the week that does not contain any VR whatsoever.
I know, that's true, isn't it? I mean, I suppose one of these days I don't know when this will happen because it's certainly not on my shopping list anytime soon, but we might have VR games and then we'll discuss VR.
Yeah, not in my budget right now, but man, I wish it was.
Yeah.
I very much enjoyed the VR that I played at TwitchCon.
I think I actually need to play it to be convinced. Right now, I'm kind of like, it's fun to watch, but I don't feel like playing it right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't sure how good it would feel, and man, like, I played, like, a super old version of the Oculus that looked like you were looking through a fucking screen door. Like, it was I had to squint to see what was going on because it was so low resolution, and I still had a blast. Like, It was still so fucking cool. VR is very fun. But anyway, sorry, I cut you off from...
oh, no problem. Yeah, I was just going to say, next week, Game of the Week is Civ 6. And yeah, it is still actually as of this recording, and when you're watching this, available for the humble monthly bundle deal, $12 for Civ 6, the base version only, and 2 DLCs, like minor DLCs, not the expansion for sure, because that's just coming out, and also a bunch of games that we don't know what it is yet. So it's a good deal.
Yeah. But it's not just the base version of Civ 6. You do get expansions. So it's a pretty...
Yeah, it's the Australian DLC and something else. I don't remember. It's just not a big expansion like Rise and Fall will be when it comes out soon.
Yes, exactly. But it's a killer deal. $12 for Civ 6, which is a relatively new game. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be playing that. We're going to be back here on twitch.tv/green9090 on Monday, hopefully, to play against each other in the Civ 6 multiplayer. So that's going to be a good time. So make sure you come back for that. We'll be back next week on Wednesday for the podcast. Again, twitch.tv/green9090. Make sure to make your way over to youtube.com/ZenandCyrene to find my co-host here. He hosts half of the podcast VODs and also makes his own crazy video gaming content. So don't miss that. And we'll see you guys next week with some Civ 6 and also more Game of the Week.
Bye, everyone.
Game of the week. More game, not game, is what I meant to say. Game of the week. That's the name of our podcast. Very original. Good job, guys. Game of the week.
Game of the week. Bye, everyone.
Game of the week. Good night, everybody.